Okay. Come on. Come on, camera. What's going on with the camera? Oh, there we go. Alright, I am happy. Howdy ho there, guys. Okay. I am live. Lucky, lucky me. It's 2025, which means hopefully things will get better, because last year sucked. Okay, just to give you guys an idea of everything that happened last year, because I got a rant on this one. In reverse order, I got really, really sick. They gave me some drugs, and the drugs didn't work. Turned out what I had was resistant to those drugs, so they gave me different drugs. So that cost me a week's work. Then before that, my car blew up. Well, not physically blew up. It blew a gasket. And I have a Honda. I have a 2022 Honda. Okay. How do you blow the engine on a 2022 Honda? You buy a Honda because they don't break. And I had two mechanics sitting there scratching their head trying to figure out what was wrong with it, because there shouldn't have been anything wrong with a Honda. And everything they checked out. It was like, it wasn't and we babied the car. It wasn't the oil. We had just replaced a piece on it, but there was nothing wrong with it. The gasket blew out the sides, so if the piece had gone wrong, the gasket would have blown upwards in the middle. That was $9,500 because I had to find a new engine. I still got 4 years to pay off on that car. And then I find out that from all the mechanics, never buy a car from a rental place. Learn that the hard way. Yeah, I'm still talking to, and unshelled pity, I still talk to quite a few of the people that did the 50th anniversary. A few of them sadly have stopped doing their channels, but a good chunk of them are still going. Thomas, no, I was not eligible for the military in 1992 when I went to go sign up to join. The military was in the middle of a drawdown. I had a few years back from there. I had surgery to fix a blown ankle, and I went to MEPS, and the guy kind of laughed and thought somebody put me up to it. I got this from when I was looking for something to do, and this one guy loved my channel. He sent me a hat. Yeah, the Navy, Coast Guard, Army, and Air Force all told me no, trying to get into the military. I was deemed I was medically disqualified from military service. Yeah, and then all of my friends got into the military, and a few of them actually made it all the way through. But yeah, the hat was a gift. I will not claim to have ever been in the military. I tried. I did my best. But unfortunately, we had just gotten out of the Gulf War, and I had a huge scar on my leg where they sewed my Achilles tendon back together. Okay, Mr. Danity, I will be getting to the plans for a future in a minute. So, we just got through a tornado. If anybody wants to Google Porter Heights and tornado, you will see that this F3 tornado took out the middle of my neighborhood. It was less than a mile from my house, about half a mile. Before that, we had Hurricane Beryl. That took out the power for about a week and a half. Before that, we had a microburst, that's a pretty uncommon meteorological event, but that's when you basically have a reverse tornado, where a tornado rips everything up, a microburst pushes everything down. And that was over on the next block. So yeah, 3 natural disasters in the space of less than a year, probably the space of 6 months. And we got hit directly by one of them. We got a glancing blow from the microburst, and the tornado came a little too damn close. Yeah, that was So yeah, so we did that. Car's wife broke down. Wife got sick. We got her better. So yeah, illness, car blow up, car breakdown, and then 3 natural disasters. So that was 2024. All the money that I had, it's like, people asked to help me with the, well, we can help you with your car repairs. No, you can't, man. It's like if it's like the doggos from a year ago when you guys helped me out with the doggos, that was, I appreciate that. I appreciate all of that. But that was like $50 there, $100 there, because we were trying to, like find those dogs a good home, and we did. But when you get told that you've got a Mastiff that is severely malnourished and needs to be on double rations, that's expensive. When you've got to find a engine for a car that would just left warranty, that's when you have to go to the bank. So, what's going on now? Currently, I have a lot of projects. I am trying to do the more videos. I'm trying to do more tips and tricks because YouTube loves tips and tricks. I know that a lot of people are dropping out for the, a lot of people have dropped out lately, and but I'm still going. I haven't had a drop off in my channel. I have not seen anything. I'm getting maybe 1,500 views, unless I do Mad Musings, which usually are a lot more, unless it's an obscure game, and then Tips and Tricks do very well. Bob, why was the dog starving? Because we have a problem with people dropping off their dogs on my street because it's a dead end in the boonies, and we've rescued 6 dogs that have been dropped off. And Harpo and Groucho. Harpo was a Mastiff. Groucho was a Blue Heeler. And somebody just dropped him off on the side of the road. And then the wife saw them running around, and she opened the door, and they just walked in. And they made themselves at home. And unfortunately, I have a small house, and we have 6 animals, 4 cats, 2 dogs. And we just could not, we didn't have room for, 2 dogs of that size. And I loved Harpo. Harpo was my boy. We introduced him to the couch, and he was like, "Okay, I'm home. I love you, even though I just met you." And he was just good-natured and everything, but he was starving. They were both underweight, but Harpo was more underweight than Groucho. And it's like somebody drops off a Blue Heeler, and we're pretty sure that if he wasn't a purebred Blue Heeler, he wasn't far from it. Because he had all of the traits. And then, Harpo was going through, I want to say about 70 pounds of food a week on the diet we got handed. But that was over a year ago. So Mystara. The current state of Mystara is I'm still working on the DMG. I'm actually in a bit of a holding pattern now, because not from the art, which I'm still trying to get money for the art. We've got some art coming in, but we still need a lot more. But like I said when I did the player's handbook, you have to keep the setting updated to the current edition, and which is true. And I wasn't really getting into 5th edition or 5th edition. Sorry. The daughters, for Christmas, got me Dungeon Master's Guide, special cover. So I got to run it for them, so I guess I am getting back into it. Plus, it introduced me to, where are you? We actually found him a good home from at one of the guys I work with, one of our clients. He had just lost his 2 dogs. They had aged out. And he was like, "I'm trying to get a home for these guys." And he's like, "Well, what do you want for a Blue Heeler and a Mastiff?" I want to get them a home. I was like, "That's a good answer." And Ronnie took care of them, and they are happy as it can be, and they have like multiple acres to run around on. And Harpo, who's now called Blue, has discovered that if he walks around to the side of the Ronnie and his wife and just acts like a bullhorn or a foghorn, they will feed him. So yeah, and this is my favorite art from page 71 of the new DMG. It's a saber-toothed high elf. I'm not really sure why it's a saber-toothed high elf, but he's got tusks. Hey Victor, I'm doing good. I'm just ranting now about how bad 2024 was. Just from all the, I mean, it was just a kick in the nuts every other week. Like I spent a month either without a car, and I have to have a car for my job. I work logistics, and my job's 30 miles away. Job,
hurricane,
illness, yeah.
Engine explosion.
Got that, covered that.
Wife illness.
I got the wife illness. I got the wife's car breakdown. I got the microburst because that took out power for about 3 days.
Yes.
So yeah. Yes.
All of July.
Yeah.
Bust.
Yeah. So everybody, yes, I haven't seen the new Monster Manual. I did not get a copy of the Monster Manual. Everything I got from the Monster Manual, I learned from the Monster Manual was from my hidden camera at Dungeon Dad's bathroom. Yeah. So I did see a few of it, which that ties into what I'm doing with the DMG. I am waiting for the Monster Manual to come out because I want to see what changes they made and say, okay, oh no, demons are now fiends. It's like in Mystara they are no longer fiends. And bugbears and goblins are fey. In Mystara, hobgoblins and bugbears are not fey, they are humanoids. And then you've got the incubus, and I mean, they had a few good songs. I wasn't a big fan, but, there's a few songs I won't change the channel on. But as far as their monsters go, it's like, yeah, the incubus is more like a Freddy Krueger monster now, and the succubus is, chaotic evil sex demon. Yes, that's not how I run them, obviously. It's like, I do Incubus like the William Shatner movie, the famous Esperanto movie, and it's like you dispatch the players. And it's like, okay, everybody, gather around. We have a new adventure for you. Really? Tell me what? And it's like, oh, the evil ancient warlord Hang Dong has released a group of incubus into the or incubi into the world. You have to track down and get rid of every member of the Johnson family. Woody, Willie, Rod, and Peter. And it's like, yes, and then it's like, that's what you have to do. It's like, because, I'll do the Incubus like Christopher Walken doing the Continental on Saturday Night Live back when they were fun. So yeah, I've seen it. I've only seen a few of the things they did. I was more concerned about some of the mechanical changes they had rather than the changes of the monsters. Though, when we were looking at it and I was showing it to some of my friends here, and they showed the picture of the Dryad, Roger, one of the gamers, goes, as a gay man, I just have to say, what the fuck is this? Okay, it's like, this is not, if you want to represent gay people, this is not how you do it. And it's like, oh my god. Well, yeah, Michael, naming one of the Johnson brothers Dick was a little too obvious. Chris, I'm going into the Mystara DMG. So we're still working on it. I'm going through the dry stuff. And then after that, I decided to fix the Savage Coast. Because, let's be honest, there's 3 versions of it, and they're all anywhere from boring to okay. So now it's going to... We're sticking with... I found the first one is we're going to go... we're going to go with the Gold Rush. It's like, you've got these minerals that are on the Savage Coast, and nations have been built up around them. The minerals are toxic. Mining them is toxic. Refining them is toxic. That's what gets you the dust everywhere. So it's not the mutation and stuff. It's basically black lung, but you can keep it at bay with the amulet. And I think that would be a better way to do it. No, we're not doing the red curse because the red curse really doesn't work. It's like it caused so many problems. It's mechanically, it's a nightmare. He's like, okay, we've got superpowers, but we're also mutants, and if we don't do this, we're going to mutate to death. And it's a lot of record keeping. Nobody really liked it. And then the spread of the Red Curse differs in both of the books in the same box set. We're still going to have all the Spains. We're still going to have Texas. We're still going to have Argentina. We're going to have the Franks, the cats, the dogs. Yeah, pretty much Red Lung. Yeah, I was like, that everybody was like funny listening to the gay guy talk about, it's like how he was offended by the portrayal of gay people in the Dungeon Master's Guide by people that are like, no, this is, it's look, he's like happy. He's like he's pink. You made the male dryad pink. I was like, how much more gayer can you make it? And it's like he's talking about the whole. He's like, I can see the art editor grabbing the artist, and he's holding a whip. It's like, I said gayer, make him gayer. And it's like the artists do what they're paid to do. They paid what they're paid to draw. And it's like, if the artist is a good one and the art editor is worth what you're paying him, he will listen to the artist when the artist turns around and goes, this is a very bad idea. You do not want to do this. This is not going to work. Which is like the TSR artists in the last in the dying days of TSR with and like somebody says, if the dryad dies, is everybody gonna have morning wood and but yeah, when TSR was dying and the management was giving the artists really bad instructions. There's a show on it, I don't know if it's still around, it was Eye of the Beholder, where one guy was just like, this, we need to impress him with the latest piece of art, so I need you to use the most expensive art piece. Hey TB. It's like, so he's like, we need to make you use the most expensive paint in this, and the guy's like, the most expensive paint is this shade of red, and I'm drawing a black dragon. Or another one saying, it's like, we need to impress the artist, we need to impress the client, so use all the art, all the colors. And he's like going, you obviously have no idea how art works, do you? So the DMG is about half done. We still need art, and I'm going to have to start raising money for art again because car exploded. We've got the and I've got some things coming up to try to raise stuff, because it's like, hey, passing the hat always doesn't always work. It's like, I can't just keep going, hey guys, can I have some more money for me? Please, sir, may I have some money for some art? And the only reason why I'm keeping Mystara, I'm putting Mystara in 5th edition, hold on TB, I'll get to you, is because something I was told a long time ago, which is very true. If you want to keep a setting relevant, you have to keep a setting current. Mystara, all the people that have been playing 5th edition, all the people that are getting into 5th edition now are going. It's like, okay, so what have we got? We've got Forgotten Realms, and we got Eberron, and all this stuff. It's like, so they don't. Mystara has been around for a lot of years, but for all the new players getting into it, they don't know what it is. So if we introduce them to the Mystara, this is a brand new setting for them. Okay, TB, how do you donate? I put a PayPal link in the description, and it's also in my About section. You can also do it through the chat, though YouTube takes a chunk out of that. Rocker Boy Jukebox, no, the head gasket blew. How they blew, we don't know. The mechanic said you just got a bad engine. That's the only thing he could think of. By any standard, that should not have blown, but it did. And it was just out of warranty. That was the problem. I talked to Honda, and they said, go pound sand. Okay, so what I'm going to be doing is getting a website up. It's going to take a couple of months. I got to get $200. Buy the website. Well, I can't fuck YouTube too much because at least that they tolerate me. And then we get the website up. I'm going to be putting all of the books there, so I don't have to keep having Raw or Hal. I almost called him by his full name. Hal is the guy that runs RPG MP3. It's like they're a lot like Critical Role, but British and better, and they've been doing it for twice as long. So I'm not a fan of Wizards of the Coast. Games Workshop, you've got a little bit of... All right, you'll always have given me my Iggies, and I will always appreciate you for my Valhalla metal miniatures, but I haven't played any of your games in so long. So you gave me nostalgia. I will give you at least that. Wizards. It's like if Wizards doesn't want to do anything with Mystara, like, can I market it or can I license it? I mean, it's Hasbro. Hasbro licenses everything. I mean, they're giving us D&D slot machines. Oh boy, gambling. That's what you want to do. That's what you want to introduce to a game that you're marketing to kids. So let me see. I don't have a lot of cash. Or let me see. I don't have a. Well, actually, I got some money. 10 septillion pingos. Come on, you want some Hungarian money? It's like if Hungary gets a better economy, you can have 10 septillion of these. So, yeah. Or $1 penguin from the Antarctic. Go to any flock of penguins, give them this $1, and you can take 1 penguin. I will trade you Mystara for this penguin. Or if you just want dollars, 100 trillion Zimbabwean dollars, I can do that. Okay, I can give you $100 trillion for Mystara right now. Mr. L, no, they do not have to use Mystara or lose the IP, because they can just hold on to it. Though I'm more than willing to give them $100 trillion. Yeah, the Dawi Czar, my Chaos Dwarves. Worst 25,000 point battle ever. And they were going to try to get this into the White Dwarf, and the results were so disappointing that they didn't. Well, that's your fault, not mine. Actually, what's the other one I've got? Let me see. 50 billion Yugoslavian dinars. I'm sure that's worth something. There is a time limit, but it's in decades. Let me see. They actually just mentioned it in the book. They just have the new the worlds and stuff, where it's like Mordenkainen's going through all the stuff and like talks about the different worlds and gets Mystara completely wrong, talking about, and the Nithian Empire was blown up. It's like, I don't know if they did that as Mordenkainen being an unreliable narrator, which is very possible. But they got Mystara very wrong about like Nithia, the Immortal, stuff like that. If you win the lottery, would you try to buy the Mystara license? Well, you can't buy the IP from Hasbro. They never sell, but you could license it. You throw enough money at Hasbro, they will license anything. Yeah. I mean, we've got it. Well, I was going to say Hasbro. They just got a new D&D pinball machine because the last one was out in '78. But I like that because I'm a flipper head. So what do we got left for the DMG? Eddie. The DMG. So I've got to finish I got 26 pages before I finish off the known world. Yeah, Hasbro never sells any IP, but they will license the crap out of it. Okay, after that, I've got to do the cursory areas. Thank you, Zen Gunman. Yeah. Oh, I'm not going to give WotC the benefit of the doubt. They did do Greyhawk. They only made a few changes to Greyhawk, though they did add all of the. You got to have all the races. Riffy Divine, yes, they have a new pinball machine. And apparently it looks amazing. And I can't wait to play. I used to have a Johnny Mnemonic pinball machine. I'm having to sell that because I had somebody cheat me out of a lot of money back when I had my flat betting company. That hurt a lot. Yeah, it's Stern. It's made by Stern. They're the last pinball makers out there, though I think Midway occasionally makes one for, like, licensing. Yes. Oh, thank you, Rocker Boy. Latam. Okay. So after we do, stuff that we got to do for the Dungeon Master's Guide that I'm still writing on. Hey, Hobbiton, say hello to Ed for me. Ever since I was a young boy, I've loved the Silver Ball. Still want to get an Addams Family pinball machine one day. It's showtime. No, and Greyhawk is like, why do you put Tieflings in Greyhawk? That is the last place you want to put Tieflings. It's like putting Dragonborn in Dragonlance. It's like, oh, okay, Latin America. I thought it was like a metal. I thought it was like a weapon system. Texan, it comes naturally. It's like the thing is, if they license out their IP, there's other companies that do it better. Hasbro, Wizards won't do anything with Dark Sun, but if somebody throws enough money at Hasbro, they'll say, yes, do Dark Sun. Why are we not doing anything with Dark Sun? This man wants to give me money for Dark Sun. Give them Dark Sun. They licensed out Ravenloft in 3rd edition, and White Wolf did an amazing job with it. So why not that? I mean, if you're not going to do anything with Mystara, yes. I mean, they did Dark Sun in 4th edition. So Hasbro, Wizards of the Coast has done Dark Sun. That's the weird thing about it, is they've done Dark Sun. Wizards of the Coast has done good stuff with the books. I mean, those people are gone. A lot of the stuff. But, let me see. The slaves, they got a problem with slaves with Dark Sun. Well, they really got a problem with Dark Sun is psionics. Because Wizards for 5th edition can't do psionics to save their life. That's the biggest issue Dark Sun has, is because everybody's psychic. And also, it's lethal. And 5th edition is pillow-fisted. Yes. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Dark Sun Lizard Ribs. Barbecue. I love me some Dark Sun. Okay. Actually, I haven't done their... we played Dark Sun when I converted the Vecna book, and the Dark Sun player was a sick bastard. Oh my god. He was... like, everything was going, throwing out these giant monsters, and everybody's screaming, like, with the psychic two-headed giants, and the Dark Sun players going, oh yeah, hit me more, daddy, hit me more. And everybody's like, okay. Yes. No, I would prefer me to run things. I don't trust Elon. Elon is not a game design runner person. He can hire people to be a game designer runner people, but I don't know if he knows any game designer runner people. Has D&D ever done psionics right? I liked 2nd edition psionics. I might be the only person. 1st edition, no. 3rd edition, not really. I don't know about psychics in 4th edition. 5th edition, they're just magic. 2nd edition psionics was its own system. They welded it on. Granted, they welded psionics onto everything, because psionics does not mesh well with D&D. It never has. It's like you got, you had to roll percentiles to see if you're psychic in 1st edition, so it was like 5 to 7%. Thanks, Zen Gunman. If you want an easy fix for 5th edition, you can do with the Beckney death rules. He's like, oh, 0 hit points, you're dead. Wait, what? Let me see. Yes, the Tower of Iron Will. It's like it attack, and it's like, on the same note, has D&D ever done wrestling martial arts right? No, because they never do... They can't do grapples. They've never been able to do grapples right. Which is wrestling. In 5th edition, if I grapple you, you can still attack me, though you've got negatives to hit. Unless you're a wizard, in which case you can just cast spells at me. Yeah, the psychic. Well, all of the handbooks from second edition were the fake leather looking ones. Yeah, second edition psychic edition or psychic rules had some serious problems, and they had some abilities that were borderline useless, and you had game breaking ones. Wonderful. Yeah. And the Book of Nine Swords. The Book of Nine Swords was kind of the every edition has a book that comes out that signifies it's about to die. Book of Nine Swords was the third edition book. When they went to Essentials in 4th edition, that was the death knell for 4th edition. Tasha's was the death knell for 5th edition. It's like, hey, our edition's broken. Let's try to fix it. Skills and Powers was 2nd edition. Unearthed Arcana was 1st edition. They try to redo the game, and it just shows that the flaws have compiled to the point where it's gone. Let me see. I would love to do Twilight 2000 by Free League. I think I've got a copy, but I've got so much else. It's kind of on the back game. Dragonbane and L5R. I've got L5R. That's on the list. I'm trying to do more Monster Mad Musings, MMs. I'm working on Exalted. Exalted is kicking my ass. This is a game system that has so much background, and it's clogging up everything else. Because Exalted is like one half werewolf, where you've got all your different phases that and you get and one half Street Fighter, because it's got a lot of hand-to-hand combat and stuff. And I'm working on it because after that I've got a small local game which won't take long. Then I've got Hackmaster because somebody did me a solid, so Hackmaster is up. And then I've got this one here. Open up a new book for the day. I was sent this to review by Evil Genius Games, and it is basically 5th edition compatible, but it's D&D modern, and it's still shrink wrapped. Thank you, Uzi Patrol. Hey. And maybe I'm seeing if it will recapture the magic that was modern. And after that, I have got Hunter, Demon, Doctor Who. I bought Mutant Chronicles, and I haven't been able to do that. I've played Exalted for a while, and it is it's not an anime game trying to be an anime game. Let me see. I'm going to be talking about Exalted in general, not just 1st edition. Shadow Dark is good for the dungeon crawling aspects of Mystara. It's got some good stuff, but it's also, I'm not a big fan. Well, no, that's Dungeon Crawl Classics that I was thinking of, the Gauntlet. It's levels 1 to 10, and it's got a lot of different elements that similar games like the Dragon Age, where you level up and you roll to see what you get. It's good for beginners. It's really good for beginners. It's an easy system to get into, but experienced players will get bored with it quickly. For the younger players, they're going to be playing it for a while. That's going to be their big game. And then, I've got so much Mad Musings I want to get done. And hopefully I will be getting the time to do it now, because nothing else will be blowing up. Okay. Still gotta, get Rubus to give me, art. I've got to get the playtest rules for domain management, because I know I can do domain management better than the DMG. Mass combat, because they don't even have mass combat. Come up with rules for the Feywild. Thank you, Raven. Not the Feywild, the Good Kingdom. Yeah, it's like, I would love to. Thank you, my War Against Reality. Yeah, I've got the Monty Python game coming in, so that was going to be coming out. Is doing I can. Let me see. I know you don't want to look towards other rules for ways. Yeah, the L5R. L5R. It was the sister game to 7th Sea, and I love 7th Sea. But the yeah, and again, the changing the name for sensitivity reasons. Of course, I use awesomeness editors. It's like, hey, what do you think about this one? The tabletop simulator would work for a Netrunner. Most people who do play Cyberpunk, the Netrunner is either an NPC, an AI, or the time that the rest of the group goes to the bathroom, because they fixed it a little with Cyberpunk Red, but did they really? Any systems that handle tank vehicle combat well? Only War. Only War did. Okay, hey guys. Let me see. What other did decent vehicle combat? I mean, Car Wars. Though that's a war game more than a. And you have to play their armored vehicles on armored vehicles. Yeah, I haven't had a chance to look at the new Twilight 2000, so I haven't seen their rules. Trying to remember the old Twilight 2000, because they had decent vehicle combat in the old Twilight 2000, but nobody ever had vehicles because it was so hard getting gas. It's like, hey, we've got all this stuff. It's like, okay, so how much weight? We've got about 12 hours of gasoline for a tank. Oh, okay. That was, oh god, it's like, you ever have a character die from rabies because you don't have the right medicines? In my headcanon from Mystara, no, Alphatia does not sink and go to the Hollow World. Alphatia and Thyatis beat the crap out of each other in Wrath of the Immortals, and the Cold War continues, though both of the big players are greatly reduced, because I didn't like the second edition where they took out all of the tension. If somebody ever sends me a copy of Axe, I will be more than happy. I reviewed Fatal. I will review anything. It was like, I've reviewed some bad games. Somebody wants me to review Coyote and Crow, and I'm not looking forward to that one, but I will do it. It was like, I've talked to people who have played, the people who have played honestly Coyote and Crow, and it's like, yeah, this should have been a novel. Yeah, Street Fighter, the grappling rules for Street Fighter were amazing. He's like, okay, you grapple. The other guy has to break your grapple. If he doesn't break your grapple, he takes a certain amount of damage. You can hold the grapple equal to your grapple rating. And here's 50 different ways to grab somebody. Chilia Avian, what's wrong with Coyote and Crow? I haven't read through the book yet, but apparently it's got some mechanical issues. And there's a lot of fluff, to the point of there's more fluff than there's really anything. Granted, I have not seen the book. I'm just going off what I have been told. Squatchhammer, how to send Axe, or how to send something. I've got PayPal, or you can email me and contact me that way, and we can set up that one. Yeah, I was like that. Like I said, I've only seen Coyote and Crow in stores today, and I didn't have $70 to get the game. So I've talked to people who have played it, run it, reviewed it, and it was just largely, this guy wanted to write a novel. He put game mechanics in it. The game mechanics are okay. I've played Pendragon many years ago. I was like, I would love to review it. I'd love to review Stormbringer. Try to find a copy of Stormbringer that doesn't cost more than a car payment. There's your issue. Yeah, the Stormbringer is a collector's item. Okay, and I will say this about Games Workshop. They did license out the very excellent RPGs to Fantasy Flight Games that mechanically had some issues, but everybody loved them. Squelch, I look exactly as that. Good looking. Oh, okay. Um, and then, so the idea is to keep Mystara. Yeah, Tunnels and Trolls. Yes, I have played Tunnels and Trolls. I've got a friend of mine who's been trying to get me to review Tunnels and Trolls, and we just have, me and John have a, I'm going this way, he's going that way, and it's the classic issue of scheduling. It's like, I'm trying to keep Mystara relevant to people today. That's the biggest thing. It was like, I'm about to do a video. About to break down a video going. It was like, hey, which version of D&D is good for you? Because you can play Mystara in any version. If you want to play, even 4th edition, if you want to run Thunder Rift, no edition runs Thunder Rift better than 4th edition. Yeah, you're only playing, up to 3rd level, but the 4th edition rules are good for that. Yeah, Wraithu. I don't even know what... I have never met anybody that has even admitted to owning Wraithu. My wife's got the novels. Does FFG make any TTRPGs? I don't know. I haven't looked at Fantasy Flight for a while. They've kind of lost all their licenses. And Squelch, I am about to do one on the Rogue, as the modern Rogue makes me see Rouge, about how it's kind of gone to a crutch mechanic of, I backstab, I have sneak attack, I have sneak attack, I have sneak attack. Thank you, all ones. What would you say the best system for an 80s action movie-style RPG? Oh, that's easy, Feng Shui. It's the RPG designed to recreate 80s action movies, and I have played that. That actually made the list a few times. Like when it said you had this one thing where it's like you could shoot all the mooks in the room with one action in your gun, and the way they worded it, it was like, okay, so any gun, so like taking out 20 guys with a musket. But yeah, Feng Shui is the best system for 80s action movies RPGs. Let me see. Wraithu, what's it about? It's about the stuff of nightmares. It was... Oh, how to describe it? It's one of those books, it's one of those things you do not Google it. It's this guy's fetish about, like, twinks, and how, like, the space twinks, and how they come to Earth to grab up the young men, and that's about as much as I can remember because my eyes start to bleed after that. Yeah. Let me see. Where did you find a copy of Wraithu? That's kind of... Yeah, Cult was weird. Oh, just broke 100 viewers. That's nice. I think that's a record. Wow. Yes, Ross. That is the one about the flower genitals. So let me see. What else is for the DMG? We got to do the... how to run Mystara with like outdoor stuff. Actually include rules for exploration. That's one of the things I had a problem with the Rogue is with the way Wizards does the pillars. The way they do the pillars, it's like if it's not combat, all you're going to do for the other ones is just going to get a bonus to hit or to get a bonus to your die roll. So, like, I was like looking at, well, 2nd edition, because the best 2nd edition books were, or the best class books were 2nd edition. Like, I'm looking at the Thieves' Handbook, and it's written by Sargent, Niles, and Nesmith. 3 giants. And it's like, they've got all of these different rogue abilities that they like, well, why didn't you give these guys stuff? It's like, the spy can use non-rogue weapons compared to everybody else. They can't backstab with non-rogue weapons, but they can use them. Because what's the point of being a spy if you can't look like what you're supposed to be doing? Let me see. What RPGs are coming out in 2025 that you're looking forward to? Well, I'm currently looking forward to the Monty Python book hitting my door. That was I scared off 7 of you. I really haven't been, like, because 2024 has just been such an absolute blender. Then let me see. Live chat. Okay. Yeah, that's better. It's like, don't hide people from me. I want to hear from all of you. The it was like 2024 has just absolutely. I've been, every penny we got went to fixing. Went to fixing cars, fixing people, fixing that. So I really haven't been paying attention to what's coming out. It's like that's the biggest, the Rogue, Strahd pales in comparison to what's the Nosferatu, because we always ran him as a comedic character, whereas like you're trying to figure out that he's actually a vampire, but he's so old at being a Nosferatu that all of the as Nosferatu age in Mystara, their weaknesses disappear. So it's like they're going to go hunt down the vampire, and who they think is a vampire, and they come across they come across him in his outside sunning himself, and he's still pale as can be, complaining about how Karamikos gets 3 days of sun a year where he's at. No, not Morphale. Hold on, I've got it. I've got the map right here. I have all of the stuff. Thank you, Thorfinn, for putting all the maps up so I can just do this. Celescu. Yeah. Baron Celescu. Yeah, and so it's like, what about garlic? It's like, oh, I love garlic. Garlic does not love me. Like, oh my god. Yeah, Morphale, yes. Morphale is the vampire from, he's the vampire prince from Glantry. Celescu is just this noble from Karamikos that everybody assumes is a vampire, but they can't prove it. Yeah, except, and he's not even evil. He's like true neutral. He loves his people. He protects his people. They're all terrified of him, but he actually cares about the people in his domain. And the whole party was, it's like, he comes out in his tuxedo or like the formal wear, and it's just like, and they're like, aha! It's like, yes, every time I try to, we have a town meeting tonight, it's like, it's always formal, never business casual. I always have to wait. I would love to show up on a t-shirt and jeans just once. Always black tie, no matter where I go. Yeah, we did that with a campaign. Let me see. Yeah, I'm holding off on my review of 5th edition because I want to get the 3 books. That's pretty much it. I'm not going to talk about it. They were talking about, well, they got rid of all of the what was it? The resistance to slashing, bludgeoning, and piercing. It was like, oh, okay, that's great. And to compensate, we've doubled the hit points of the monsters. Isn't that defeating the purpose? It's like, hey, good news, everybody. Your sword went from 5 points of damage to 10 points of damage. Yay! It's like, oh, and we've also increased the monster's hit points from 50 to 100. One of you is bad at math. It's like, that's one thing I would, if they ever want to license Mystara, oh my god, I would not kickstart that. I would go fund that in a heartbeat. But I don't know how much that would even cost. I'd have to start an actual company. I'm already working on one. I am trying to bring back the card game I wrote. I was 10, 15 years ago. Because a lot of people have been asking about it. It's like Munchkin but fun. Yeah, hit point bloat was a major problem in 5th edition. Okay, and we're stabbing the ogre, and we're stabbing the ogre, and we're stabbing the ogre, and he's dead. So so I can start doing con again because con sells. When I had it, in 5 years I sold 10,000 copies. Yeah, that's samurai. I sold 10,000 copies of con. The money dried up for business reasons that was not related to the card game, but something like that. Con, C-O-N, exclamation mark. There's 10,000 copies. The box sucked. The cards were kind of cheaply made. But let me see. Yeah, it was pretty much just sold in Texas and parts of Louisiana. Every time I went to A-Kon, Comic Palooza, Space City Comic Con, dead and gone, and a bunch of others, I would sell out. And it's sold out very well, but unfortunately the game has aged. Some of the jokes, some of the people are no longer relevant in the con scene now. Like I had to explain to my wife yesterday who Mr. Suitcase was. 15 years ago, everybody knew who Mr. Suitcase was. Now that term has fallen out of favor. It's the guy that brought all the expensive magic cards to show off or to sell them. It's like certain jokes, have pop culture references have an expiration date. Sitar Hero was funny, a lot more funny. It was a lot more funny, 10 years ago. When was the last time they made a Guitar Hero game that had any traction? So we've got to replace it with other stuff. Somebody sent me a copy of Marvel Multiverse. I think that was Bear. God, I need to get back on some of his streams when he starts getting them back up again. He's moving right now. He was trying to keep me on there, but oh my God, it was like every Wednesday I'm like, oh, you got to play with it. It's like something's burning down at the moment, or I don't have power. I saw the. I got involved. Somebody sent me the playtest version of the Marvel Multiverse, and they tell me they fixed it. Making a tabletop simulator module for my card game, I would love to. I've got to make some alterations though. Also, I have to get the art updated. We had 10 sets. We had 10 rules, 10 editions made from Con 1 to Via Con Dios, number 10, and we only had the art done for 2 of them. And like Con was just. It was when it was out. It was a juggernaut because I would sell out at every con. It got banned in certain spots at A-Kon before A-Kon tossed me out. Yes, I am banned from A-Kon from the Artist Alley. For not because I wasn't Japanese. My stuff wasn't Japanese enough. And it's a bidding game. It plays 10 to 15 minutes. It plays 2 people to 5 people. The game scales, so no matter how many people are playing it, the game doesn't take as long. All right. Let me see. Have I considered writing a Mystara campaign setting with the serial numbers filed off? Oh, you like Pathfinder? The problem is I do that, and people want Mystara. Like I could make a Forgotten Realms game with all the serial numbers filed off, but Mystara is what sells. People remember Karamikos. People remember Glanchery. People remember Bargle. If I just clone it, I'm going to lose the audience. Yes, I have very often considered making a Mystara campaign where all the nations are real-world parallels. But then I remember what happened to other people that did that. That's the reason why I haven't been working on Drag Rider, because I'm looking at 7 D&D clones right now. And it's like if I put it out there, it's going to get lost. It's just going to be part of the glut. I have not played Morrowind in a very long time. I don't think it runs on my computer very well. Not anymore. It did back then. Yes, go Vivek. Yeah. And then, Conspiracy X. Yes, I have a copy for review. It was put out in right around the time that X-Files, Grimdark Darkness of the Grimdark 90s. And I have never played it, but it was like one of those, conspiracy theory ones. And it's on my list of things to be reviewed. Yes, I actually have a copy sitting right over there on by my bookshelf, which stuff like that. Have I ever looked out and finding if they would sell Mystara? I'm sure we could go fund me just to cost. You would not. You cannot. They will not. Hasbro will not sell the license. They will not sell the IP. They will license it. Let me see. Oh, thank you. I'm glad you like Falkenstein, G.I. Joe, and Knight's Dark Terror. Knight's Dark Terror is still one of the best modules ever, if not the best. I have not played Over the Edge, but I have seen it. I'm still trying to mod Fallout New Vegas so it doesn't explode on me every 5 minutes. Great game, but absolutely unplayable. Let me see. I would accept Mystara as... they need to... Yeah, that's where most people know Mystara is from, as the beat-em-ups. Mystara has a bunch of video games. It's got the second most after Forgotten Realms. You can bring back the beat-em-up. You can bring back Warriors of the Lost Sun. They had multiple... like dungeon crawlers. That was, bring back, you can bring back Mystara for, anything. Give me a Baldur's Gate Mystara. As long as it gets people playing, keeps people interested in the setting, I will gladly take it. Sadly, Archangel, I have come to that agreement as well. It has got a memory leak that even the mods can only keep going for a little bit longer. Because it's a great game. And and you also had Fantasy Empires, which was like this giant war that had a map of Mystara, and I want to get a copy of that map. Man. Then just like you said, if you want to keep Mystara popular, you have to keep it current, and that's the only way you're going to do it. You have to keep bringing it up every time they talk about it, and like D&D. It's like every time they have like a D&D stream, I always like it's the Mystara thing. It's like when they came out with the Mexican orcs. Take care, TB. When they came out with the Mexican orcs. And everybody was like, and I pointed out, hey, are those the Krugel orcs from Mystara? And the artist is going, yes, they are. That was my inspiration. The Krugel orcs from Mystara, from the Hollow World, right? Yes, from the Hollow World. Yes, that was my inspiration. The Mystara orcs from the Hollow World and the Krugel orcs. Yes, exactly. Okay. I'm actually pleased that I was able to get out the bugs, and I'm having a decent stream without buffering. Oh my god, it's amazing. Okay, all ones. They came out with some art for the 5th edition player's guide, and the orcs look like Mexican peasants from about 1900. And the vaults are all nothing. Okay, before I get distracted, I'll answer Ryan in a second. So they give us orcs that look like they're straight out of Pancho Villa. All right, and it's like they've got cactus, and they've got surprised one of them's not eating a taco. And people blew up because it was like real world, but Mystara has, we've got 5 Spains for God's sakes. And it's like the Hollow World had Gaucho orcs and the Krugel orcs. And it's like there's a guy with a sarape. And it's an orc with a sarape with a pig face orc and all of this stuff. And of course theirs is just humans with tusks and gray skin. But it's like, hey, you've already done Mexican orcs. You put them in the Hollow World. I was like, yes. So everybody's like, oh, okay. See, we're showing that these guys you're making fantasy races, yeah, real world parallels, okay, and you're trying to get praise for it. And when people brought up Mystara, it's like, hey, when we're going to do this, we're like, well, it's problematic because you had real world parallels with the races. Like, okay, that's pretty fucking hypocritical. That's seriously hypocritical. That like this setting is like problematic because it has real world parallels. But when we do it, it's like, look, we're showing what they can do. So yeah. Ryan, yes, the vaults are keeping up with the star. They're getting updated. The Paul's doing a fantastic job. Paul Stanley, yeah. And they need more. They need all the support. I wish we could get him, all the money he needs and the time to update it to make it a lot easier and accessible. But that's a problem. Are the remnants of the Empire remaining on the surface still a threat if they could unite and finish conquering Belisaria? No, because they're never going to reunite because the Thothians want nothing to do with them. Xandor is a terrible leader, and most of the armies were on the continent itself, so they've lost 90% of their people. They've lost 90% of their military right there. Let me see. Troy Denning. Somebody remind me who Troy Denning is. Yeah, 5 Spains, 4 of them in right bordering each other, and then the Belcades. Yeah, it's like the Radiant Citadel. The Radiant Citadel was doing well under Thyatian control. And it's like like they got the one guy complaining about like don't colonize the. Yeah, it was like we can't have colonizing in your D&D. And here's the Thyatians going, oh boy, here I go colonizing again. Let me see. Are the humanoid populations of the Broken Lands actually a threat to the known world? If Thar can ever get his act together, yeah, he could actually probably do some damage. Let me see. Who is Troy Denning? That name doesn't even sound familiar. American author. Oh yeah, he's gone on to Blue Sky. What are they going to do when Blue Sky goes away? Because this is like the 4th or 5th. Oh, okay. I actually haven't read any Denning stuff. Oh yeah, yeah. The Dark Sun stuff was. I actually talked to some TSR people about Dark Sun about what exactly went wrong with it, and he's like, they told us to write everything, like write the setting, but keep updating according to the novels. So we're literally every month because they were putting novels out at such a breakneck speed back then. There's like okay, we just got the setting done. It's like now we got to update it. Now we got to update it again. Stop writing novels so fast. Well, novels are one of the few things that are selling. The novels are crap. We can't write that fast. Yeah, WotC is like they listen to the Twitter people or the Skypers or whatever now. It's like well, you don't want to offend people. And meanwhile, you've got the Asians and the Europeans going, put the Mystara in the vein, in right here. I mean, Jesus, because of Mystara, we got Lotus Wars. Everybody loves that anime, and it was because they translated the Red Box into Japanese. Let me see. You get the Mystara license and the condition you fast forward the fluff by 100 years. What's the biggest change? The biggest immediate change is rewrite Wrath of the Immortals. In 100 years, you've got probably the uniting of the Savage Coast and the known world. Because people will start spreading out again. Let me see. In the latest Poor Wizard's Omelet, he imprisoned Xandor and his sister took over. Yeah. The problem. Yeah. The biggest issue. Well, the biggest issue is the writing of the Hollow World, where there's like, okay, it's cultural stasis, and you've got Alphatia, which is a massive, this massive continent that suddenly appears, is 1,000 years, at least more than 1,000 years, technologically advanced than everybody else. They've got sky ships. They've got a huge army because Belissaria is not Belissaria. Bedouin. You get this massive army in Bedouin, and everybody else is in the Bronze Age, pretty much. Okay, how was the Hollow World, like, forget conquering the known world, how was the Hollow World not, under Alphatian control in less than a month? Yeah. Mystic, the biggest thing, they actually retconned the 1036th level mages out when when Bruce came out and said, yeah, that was Alphatian propaganda. They're high-level wizards, yes, but they're not all maximum-level mages. And most of them can't be bothered. Let me see. Any thoughts on Weiss and Hickman rebooting Dragonlance and invalidating everything? Good luck. God bless them. Margaret is very protective of her Dragonlance, and I wish her well. She was protective of her Dragonlance when she worked for TSR. Just ask Elmore and about Goldmoon's pants. Yeah, Wizards has the problem with, by offending no one, they've excited no one. Well, no, that's because you got Mystic. Don't feel bad about it because Bruce made a lot of changes to Alphatia on his blog. So if you don't read his blog, you didn't know where he tried to fix a lot of the stuff. Yeah. Houston half price book. Houston half price books. You never go to half price books in Houston. 90% of all of their gaming stuff is $40K from 7th edition or like around those editions. They never have any decent old stuff. They want a mint for what they do have. And it's like they charge, like they're charging stuff they're charging double for stuff that's still in print. Yeah, I barely post on Twitter myself, so I'm not jumping to Blue Sky. Just kind of view it as everybody a bunch of people just arguing with each other over which bubble do we want to be in. Yeah, Nan's downtown. They got a bunch of stuff a while back, and I bought most of it. And they still have some Mystara stuff in shrink over there, so they have some Creature Crucibles left. But they don't normally get new stuff. I mean, they were in a museum for the longest. If you want new stuff in Houston, or if you want old stuff in Houston, go to Etten. Etten has a bunch of old stuff, and he cycles his stuff in and out. That's where I got rid of most of my stuff. I've only got 5 books left that I have to get. I've got everything, but except for the reprints. A lot of it's reprints. I'm trying to replace the reprints. Traveler is one of the greatest RPGs ever. That's why it's still going around almost 40, 50 years later. It's not for everybody, but for the people that like their hard sci-fi, mostly, because they do have psionics. That is one of the best. It's got so much stuff. It's got so much information, so much shipbuilding, world building, exploration. Yeah. Okay, take care of Archangel. And that's one problem. Yeah, and then the 36 levels and 9 levels and 9 spells per. That's one problem. D&D still, or 5th edition has, is wizards get like 1 or 2 high level spells at the high level. That's the thing. It's like, I know not Matt Colville, Crawford. Crawford doesn't like lore, but lore is what gets people into these. It's what, okay, the rules get people in, the lore is what hooks them. And that's why you still have grognards. Let me see. Riffy Divine, yes, you could die in the older rules playing Traveler. That was a very much possibility. It was pretty much press your luck. My War Against Reality, which is better for a humor campaign? Cobalt. Okay, it's a different. Those are different games. Paranoia is when the players are just like you punish your players for futility and they love it. Cobalt's Ate My Baby is quick, it's fast, it's light. Paranoia, sometimes you actually have to pay attention to the stuff. Yeah. Yeah, I've played some Traveler. Granted, that was Space Master, where the entire campaign died on the first die roll because it's like, okay, make your astrogation check to fly to the next planet, and the guy critically failed so bad he put the ship through an asteroid. Iron Crown never had enough charts for their games. They jokingly, in April Fool's, I think in Challenger, had a chart generation chart. Yeah. Yeah. So, Cobalt is light and fluffy. Paranoia it takes a special kind of player to get into Paranoia because most characters talk about, like how their players succeeded. Paranoia players brag about how their characters died. Granted, Cobalt's Ate My Baby is not exactly a death light game either. But you've also got, if you want other comedy RPGs, there's, Teenagers from Outer Space is still in print. That is a glorious one if you do it right. A lot of people do it like the anime style. I've always done it with John Hughes meets, Mystery Science Theater. That's a great comedy game. I haven't seen the second. I don't know if they ever made it out because I think Garvin died before they fully got it out. Was Tales from the Floating Vagabond. Beautiful books, really funny. But God, those rules sucked. Hello, Agile Monk. Let me see. How powerful would the Nithians be if they broke out of the Hollow World? Would they just be stomped out, or would they be equivalent to the Tomb Kings? They would be stomped out because they were still stuck in their cultural stasis. Their cultural stasis is still stabby or backstabby all over the place. They're still in the Bronze Age practically. Yes, they have magic, but everybody else has crossbows. Let me see. If somebody wanted to gut the birthright setting for the unique elements and use them for a different game, would you pick and recommend taking? Let me see. How would you use them? Okay. The birthright setting is very similar to Pendragon with the time jumps and stuff like that. If you want to do like a long-term, almost like fantasy foundation game, that's where you want to use birthright. John Doe, thank you. You handsome son of a bitch. Well, at least you're honest. Let me see. Yeah. Yeah, Traveler 2300 AD. Yeah, that one's one I'm looking at, but it's hard to find. Yeah, well, the Tifos, there's only like the main book, and they had Field Trip. A friend of mine wrote that one. Let me see. My War Against Reality. Do you know? I know Kevin's opinion. Do I prefer 7th edition or 7th C AEG or 7th C 2nd edition? 1st edition. 2nd edition. My players asked me to do something else. I got the books for 2nd edition. 2nd edition, you can't fail. You just roll to see how well you do. Everything was kind of simplified with the sword fighting. If I have a sword fighting skill and you don't, I win. The end. Yeah, that was, I wanted to like 2nd edition, but it just was boring and generic. The ships there was nothing different about the ships. And it's like, I wanted to be swashbuckling, I wanted to be all this stuff. And it's like, the die mechanics in 1st edition were wonky, the dice in 2nd edition were stale, and they were new. Ugh. And I regret selling all my 7th C 1st edition, but you can get those books actually cheap and for regular price nowadays. It's not that hard. Let me see. Working on Bronze Age era, set just before the Trojan War, set in ancient Greece, but doing research on all the cultures for the era. Go watch the Metatron. If there's going to be anybody that's got actual stuff that you can get on ancient Greece that's quick, easy, and understand, it's going to be on his channel. I'm actually really good friends with, speaking of 7th Sea, going back, I'm actually really good friends with Moose. Kevin Bowerwinkle, he's written several of the books. He got us into the campaign. I made so many characters and we tried to play them and we broke the system. That's why there's so much 7th Sea on the Mr. Welch list. Did I ever play GURPS? Oh my God, let me tell you about the time my friend nearly had to sue Steve Jackson Games helping me move because he tried to lift my GURPS collection. Yeah, we played GURPS Supers. We played GURPS Supers for a while. And GURPS 4-color Supers is one of the stupidest ways to play a superhero campaign because you need 20 books. He's like, okay, well, we need magic. Okay, now you need martial arts. Okay, now we need the tech books, both high-tech and modern tech. Okay. Yeah, it's like, okay, and then we got GURPS Supers. Okay, and then we need this one. Now we need this one. It's like, okay. Yeah. Yeah. And then people just stopped playing GURPS. They moved on to other. So I got rid of those books a long, long time ago. Yeah, the Deadlands Classic with their fetish about putting the monsters at the bottom of the well. 6 adventures had the monster at the bottom of the well. Seriously. Like the one in the back of Law Dogs. It's like I think that was the one where it's like, okay, you're coming into the town. It looks, deserted. Everybody's dead. It's like, what do you do? I dynamite the well. What? I dynamite the well. How did you know the monster was down at the well? Because he was down at the well for the last 4 adventures we ran. Kind of. Let me see. I've actually got the DC... somebody sent me the Batman game, but I'm going to review the DC Heroes, which was by Ray Winninger in Mayfair, the guy that used to run TSR. Yeah, that was... the Deadlands... Yeah, for Deadlands they had... let me see. It was the adventure... I'm trying to remember all the ones where you had to dynamite the well. My memory's vague on it, but yeah, the Law Dogs... where you go into the deserted town, and it's the guy that's eating all the gold, the guy that's got the gold down his mouth. And you blow up the well, and then you blow up the well in the it was basically you buy all these things, the cardboard scenery, and that was the one. There was one where the town was alive. And the heart was at the bottom of the well. So if you blow up the well, it kills we blow up the well, okay, and then the saloon dies. Wait, what? Oh yeah, Night Train. Night Train is the Night Train makes Night Train, the Diamond novel Night Train for Deadlands made Tomb of Horrors look like a cakewalk because you're supposed to go into this train and there's 6 vampires. And I think there was at least 6. And vampires in Deadlands were no joke. Yeah, that was... they later apologized for that one. Yeah, Squadron X, wasn't that that's the reskin of Golden Age Heroes, I believe. Yeah, I've heard Shadowrun 6th edition isn't any good, but I actually haven't read it. And then, there's just, and then, but it was like, when I'm looking at starting, eventually, once I burn through the, Mad Musings backlog, let me see, I'm looking at, doing what I did for the Cyberpunk RPG, but for the Star Wars D6, and count the number of modules that start with the your spaceship crashing in the opening of the adventure. That was more than half of them. It became a joke where we wouldn't name the ship. It's like, okay, you're starting this adventure. Okay, what's your ship's name? We're not going to give you a ship's name because we're not going to remember it because we're going to be crashing in the spaceship in 5 minutes. And if you come across the Quarian, just shoot the Quarian because he's always the bad guy. And yeah, the guys that did, who made the modules for Star Wars D6, they needed a better editor. Let me see, Roswell, The Adventures of Briscoe County Jr. Yes! Ash from, like Bruce Campbell and Show Enough Shogun. That was a short-lived one, but it was a fun one. That was back when television was fun. And I think that was because Bruce Campbell was part of the producer that was the guys that gave us Xena, and they made a bunch of other. He did, what was the French Revolution one, or the Jack of Trade, or Jack of Hearts, or I don't remember. Yeah. Lord Bowler, yeah. God, I remember seeing he had one where he was like, it was a swashbuckly thing, and it was in the Caribbean, though it wasn't in the Age of Pirates. And then I watched like 6 episodes, then it disappeared, because apparently it had been canceled. Jack of all trades, that's what I thought it was, I just couldn't remember it. Again, it was, I caught it for like 6 episodes. Kind of like when I finally sat down to watch The Prisoner for the very first time. And I sat and I was like, oh, okay, everybody's been telling me this is one of the greatest, weird shows ever. So I'm going to sit down and I'm watching The Prisoner. And it was the very last episode. They were showing the end of the series. So I had no idea what was going on. That was disappointing. It's like, I later caught other episodes and they were very good, but it was like, I read the last chapter. Yeah, it's like the early 1700s, because, and speaking of, after the Revolutionary War, so yeah, it was the dying of the Age of Sail. He had Jean Lafitte, so that was, because he was 1812, and took over Galveston for a while. And speaking of which, they actually need to start making a decent pirate game again, because the last one I enjoyed was Sid Meier's, but everybody loves Sid Meier's. No, for whatever reason, the Lost City is going for way more than all of the others. I don't know why. I mean, I was looking at the pricing. It's like, hey, if that's going for that much, I've got the full set. Maybe I can go sell something like that. And it's like, nope, only Lost City for whatever reason. And I do need to, now that I have all 3 versions of the Lost City, let me see. I need to compare the original to the Goodman games to the WotC version. Let me see. For some reason, France was our enemy in Jack of all trades. If it was set in the early 1800s, then yes, France was our enemy because of the XYZ affair. Little known shadow war we had with France over them seizing ships and taking cargoes, claiming that we owed them money. Millions for support, but not one dime in tribute. Because, as I was talking with my wife, how Wizards has a bad habit of just making everything generic. Everybody. Okay, for those of you who are familiar with Lost City, you remember the 3 factions. You had the bros, you had the chicks, and you had the nerds. And it's like, and no, no girls allowed in the bro section, no dudes allowed in the chick section. And if you were, weird and could cast spells, the nerds would be more than happy to take you. But then you get to the Wizards of the Coast one, it's like, we're not doing that anymore. Anybody can join anything. Wait, what? No. Like, that was the point. Like, they're segregated. That's the whole thing, is if you want to stop Zargon, you got to unite the factions. He's like, well, that would be discriminatory. Yeah, that's the point. They're this really weird isolated culture. And what are you doing? And it's like, well, and of course they removed anything for slavery and stuff like that. Ubisoft. Yeah, I'm waiting for Ubisoft to die. Apparently, they're not doing well at all. The Assassin's Creed pirate one, people said we would have liked it more if you would have just made it a pirate game rather than an Assassin's Creed. Yeah. But yeah, it's like I'm looking at the art, and it's like we've got elves. It's like elves in a city that's been lost, and for hundreds of years, everybody lives underground. But you're still racially diverse instead of everybody looking like cave fish. Let me see. Yeah, Sinbad would work. There was who was that? There was a Arabian Nights RPG in that time of era, but I've only seen it. I've never actually heard anybody talk about it. If the new Bloodlines game ever comes out, I understand those guys are fighting amongst each other. No, there's some good current day RPGs because everybody can make their RPGs now. The problem is you got Sturgeon's Law. All right, 90% of everything is going to suck. It's finding the 10% that are good. It's like you've got because what's the one that Critical Role put out, and people are like, yeah, it's well written. It's almost unplayable, but yeah. For the Lost City, the question is anybody buying players? Yes, I have seen people pay hundreds of dollars for Lost City Goodman games. It's the only, because when that started out at the RPG auction site on Facebook, everybody started putting up all their stuff trying to get hundreds of dollars. Only Lost City sells for that much, and I don't know why. It's not that recent. It came about 5-6 years ago. Yeah, Daggerheart, and the people that played, it's like it's okay. It's nothing special, nothing new. It's original, kinda. And then let me see. Elflaver had an Arabian Nights. I don't remember that. Yeah, I mean, Seventh Sea had an Arabian Nights setting. It was okay. Actually, I couldn't say that because I played a Crescentian with his big ass hammer. Let me see. Blah, 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 blah. And then, oh man, yeah. There's just so much out there. I'm trying to keep up is always the problem. And then, what do we got for the DMG? We still need how much for the art? I'm just looking at art for the DMG. I've got the art for all the different for all the different nations. I'm recycling it from Faith. She did the art. She originally did the art for the Player's Handbook, and then I recycled it, and so because somebody else gave me some other stuff and trying to make it look better. So now it's going to look like hand drawn, like somebody's drawing it. That was actually going to be. We already have a piece of art where a guy was drawing a city, like as one of the unreliable narrators, but. Rubus told me that art would look awful and he wasn't going to do it, and he has veto status on any of my ideas because he has a better art thing than I do, or he knows when art's going to be difficult to draw. Yeah, let me see. Let me see. There was RPG with no rules. That was the vampire. That was live action vampire. Oh, thank you, Tear the Maimed. Yeah. Again, Agile Monk. Thanks again. Never was in the military. Was given the hat by a friend. Still got the scars that kept me out of the military. The hell's going on with that? Yeah, the thing is, like, I've been looking at all the new video games coming out for RPGs and stuff, and I haven't been that impressed. Granted, I was one of the few people that didn't care for Baldur's Gate 3. Not a fan of turn-based, not a fan of the Forgotten Realms, and wasn't a fan of the NPCs. Yeah, let's see. And they're trying to they're doing the World of Darkness without the meta plot, and I guess that's working. I mean, the meta plot is what killed World of Darkness in the first place. But that was Wizards' fault, and then of course Wizards had the problem with the people that started Wizards of the Coast, White Wolf. They had the Wizards of the White Wolf people, all the people that made like Vampire and Werewolf and Mage great, that were just like, oh, this is amazing. It's like they got headhunted by other companies. They started their own, or they just left, or they got fired in a few cases. So all the people that were keeping it going for like third edition, they wanted to make their own stuff. Yeah. Yeah, the Air Force recruiter was telling me that I had a gift for languages. In case you hadn't noticed from my videos, so they wanted me to do like translation and like not spy service, but like sitting there listening to translating stuff, and then the MEPS guy broke his heart by saying nope, we can get it. He's not going to be doing anything physical, and it's like nope, right here, big X, nope. Let me see. What do you think of the mod for World of Darkness that makes playable characters for Highlander? Oh my god, we had rules for that when the ink was still dry on Vampire. Highlander will always be part of World of Darkness, whether they want it to or not. There was actually an unofficial Highlander RPG, which wasn't very good. I'm trying to remember the name of it. Because we were like, oh, this is great. And we tried to play one game. It's like, okay, so everybody dies except for one guy. Yeah. I used to speak a fair bit of Urdu, but yeah, that's what I'm pretty much told, because they were going to teach me Czech. That's what the recruiter said. They were going to teach me Czech, and granted this was right after the fall of the Soviet Union. Oh, take care, Tier. It's like I barely spoke Spanish. I spoke a little bit of German, but I could tell what language was being spoken by listening to it, because I knew what they were supposed to sound like. Yeah. Legacy, it was obviously a Highlander clone, and God, that was I know two things in Czech: Vezmez si ma, or Vezmez si mi, will you marry me? And Ukaz mi své koze, show me your tits. And those are both because I was good friends with the daughter of the Czech consulate general back in 2000. William Silva, hello. Yeah. Ich spreche Deutsch und Kleins, weil meine Freundin von Österreich was dating an Austrian. And not much Russian. Parlez-vous français petit? Though I mostly speak it with Parlez-vous français petit? Because, again, all the French I learned from people named, was it Danton, Mr. Roch, my wood shop teacher, and then whatever Fred's last name is over at St. George's. Granted, he's retired now. Yeah, the only Czech I ever needed to know. And then, Señorita, dos más cervezas, por favor. Actually, the Show Me Your Tits, we were doing a prank for the Rocky Horror. I probably told this one before. And it's like we told her we'd give her cue cards because she didn't know all the words to double feature and all that. And every so many cue cards was a different language with Show Me Your Tits. And then we learned that Michelle Benavides spoke Swedish. Yeah. Niate Manule Tasisi, which isn't, I think that was, I'm butchering it now, but that was the Finnish version of it. and she spoke enough Swedish to understand the Swedish. Yeah, we spoke that. We had that in Afrikaners, Mongolian, Japanese. Opa Mystara. Though that is, please reveal to me your bosoms. No. Dwin Gakishara Dion. Yes. My job told me that I would get paid 10% more if I became bilingual. Feshi Dwin Dusky Kumreg. Take care, my war against reality. Yeah. Okay, my war against reality, you're going to have to tell me what your real name was, because I do remember people, but I don't know I was like, I can't identify people. All of your your handles look the same. Yeah. Actually, I knew somebody that was from South Africa, Vandermeer. And then, oh, thank you, Eugen. Marion, yes, I know you, Marion. We're friends on Facebook, for God's sake. You're still stuck on Bolivar, aren't you? Yeah. Don't ask me familia. I got through Italy speaking I got through Italy speaking Spanish. Yeah, we were. I had a friend of mine in Canada. She said she would only marry me if I proposed in 20 languages, and they couldn't be a Klingon or Canadian. I said I would never, ever propose to you in Klingon. That was, and then, but then she also said she was never moving to Texas. So that was the end of that romance. Long distance, futile. And then the Rocky Horror, the Rocky Horror. I have so many stories about getting thrown out of the Rocky Horror until they finally banned us. Chet the Rocky Nazi. Yeah. Yeah. Don't know Kenya. Yeah. Well, have the mirror yell back at the cat. Yeah, I used to speak a lot better German, but there's nobody here to speak it with. My wife speaks better German than me now. But yeah, this Austrian taught me a lot of German, and then this Pakistani woman I was dating taught me a lot of Urdu. All I can do now is count to 12 in Urdu. Ek, do, din, char, bach, jay. Yeah. That's not exactly. I learned how to say bus, which is stop, and yalla yalla, that's hurry up. And we went to go see Iron Man, and she ruined it for me because in the first minute or the first few minutes, where like the guys are holding Tony Stark hostage, and they're speaking amongst each other. They're speaking Urdu, and they're telling you exactly what's going on, who's responsible, and who the villain is. Good times, yeah. And then, yeah, like, but yeah, I could always pick up on other languages, and I can actually, on my list of horrible things, if anybody ever accuses me of something minor and like hold that against me, I've got this huge list of everything I've done that's like horrible that I'm proud of, or at least sounds horrible if you take it completely out of context. It's like I've been picked out of a police lineup as a murderer 4 times. I've been covered in someone else's blood twice. And I had good reasons for all of that. Like I learned Welch out of spite. Yeah, there's a few. There's a few that if you learn, if you're there's a few movies that it spoils it if somebody's bilingual. Let me see. What is your opinion of the hardest genres to emulate and teach? Horror. By far, it's horror. There's nothing else that comes close to the difficulty of trying to scare people by describing actions. You know, you can't do jump scares with RPGs. Well, my father was a homicide cop for HPD. So every time he had somebody that vaguely looked like me and they needed a police lineup, I was in that lineup. And yeah, they picked me 4 times. They picked my brother 3 times. Horror is absolutely the hardest because you have to get inside their heads. And that's very difficult. You can't just go, blah! That doesn't work. Well, for an RPG, comedy is easier for an RPG if you're running it because the players are trying to do it. The problem with a comedy RPG is somebody has to play the straight man. And that's the biggest issue. Is everybody can be the clown, but somebody has to be the straight man, and playing a straight man is difficult. Yeah, that was let's see, because we've run solid, yeah, we've run some great comedy games. I mean, we did the Disco Nazis in the one module with Tales from the Floating Vagabond. The 2 greatest evils of all time have merged: Nazi Germany and disco music, and you have to infiltrate the Nazi base, and they're all disco Nazis. Music does help set the mood with horror a lot, but you're still going to have to get them to you got to give them the willies, and that is the biggest thing. And that's really hard to do just by describing it. Paranoia, you can, the characters are out to backstab each other. Teenagers from Outer Space rewards you with XP for telling jokes. And the biggest thing with comedy games is you want to give them buttloads of XP, because the more things they can do, the funnier they get. Horror, the more XP you give them, they're going to get eaten. They're still going to get eaten by the bad guy. The Disco Nazis, that's not me. I did not come up with Disco Nazis. That was from that was from Lee Garvin in Tales from the Floating Vagabond. It was like with Hitler with a afro. And that was like, yeah, it's like there was one, of course, in Paranoia, a lot of us deals with frustration. We had one game where the guys were given, all they had to do was deliver a box down a corridor, and the corridor was the color above their pay grade or their clearance. So if they tried to go down the corridor, they're going to get executed. And they went through, I don't know how many clones, just trying to go down a corridor. And that was some messed up stuff. I mean, when we did Collect Call of Cthulhu at OwlCon, we killed off, I think, 486 characters, including 70 in the first 5 minutes, because they spent too long with the record player skipping in the room, and the record player was skipping on the word Haster. That was a messed up game. We kept using the words, and you all go insane and die, so many times. But horror there's a reason why there's not a lot of horror games. Like Vampire is not horror. Vampire became superheroes with, basically like that. God, it's like, there's no horror in Werewolf. It's like I turn into Krynos and I kill it. And yeah, that was that was horror for you. And then looking at other games. Yeah, I don't see a lot of horror. I mean, yeah, Cult. Cult is Swedish. Cult is Swedish. As a Swedish RPG. That's just Swedes have their own messed up version of RPGs. No, it is very grimdark. Yes, and like Cult, Chronopia. I mean, they made Chronopia of all things, a generic war game. They made that one a dark RPG. Oh no, you want to scare Mr. Welch? Have my car make strange noises. That's what scares me right now. Let me see. In your experience, what is better, rolling for karma with a skill like credit check or using currency like D&D traditional money? That really depends on the game. Okay, do you need your characters to do you need to keep them poor? Have them keep track of their money. If getting stuff is not a major thing in the game, then you use the credit check. Have not seen Terror in the Streets. Yeah, that's because that's the one thing with like the cyberpunk. If you want to keep, if you want to keep the keep it to the streets, have them keep track of their money, because then they start to worry if they ain't got enough money to refill the clip. They have to start thinking thinking about stuff, or thinking about okay, how do I take out this guy without spending a lot of money? Rogue Trader, it's just like, okay, can I afford this battle cruiser or not? Yeah, if they've got more money than God, then yeah, you just need a skill. But if it's straight, okay, high level credit check, low level money, and then yeah, so I got to get the website up. When I get the website up, then I can actually have, hey, if like I can actually have people donate and just grab stuff off the site, and I can throw things up. Actually, when we were doing Call of Cthulhu, I found out if you play the character from Sling Blade, he's broken. He is broken in Call of Cthulhu because he has very low intelligence, but he's got a very high wisdom. So it's like, so what do you do? It's like, we're playing. It's like, okay, I found this evil ancient looking book in the basement. I couldn't read it, so I burned it. Okay. Black Sword Hack, I've heard it, I haven't seen it. Like, you're one of them evil cultists. Don't like that. I guess I'm gonna have to kill you. Okay, everybody make an idea check to see if you understand, the eldritch horror that now stands before you. Got no idea. You must be one of them guys from Arkansas I hear about all the time. I don't like people from Arkansas. Yes, I'm gonna have to kill you. Yeah, so the hillbilly with an idea of what's not right, but he has no idea why it's not right. That kind of wrecks Call of Cthulhu. It's like, okay, everybody who made your idea check, you lose 10 sanity. Oh, and you guy over here, and for the guys who did make it, you lose 2. Okay, well, I took care of him by beating him to death with this shovel, and then you gain 3 back. Okay, so we've got the guy over there with no mythos lore whatsoever, which has killed all the cultists, and has got a sanity rating hovering around 100. My car is doing a lot better now that I have replaced the entire engine. And the mechanic said, I looked all over the country. We found 2 engines that would fit, which tells me that every other mechanic is also searching for Honda CR-V hybrid engines. Which says, and so what so he told me, it's like, do this, keep your receipt, keep everything you did. And, wait for keep an eye out for the class action lawsuit when everybody else's engines blow up. Because all of a sudden there was all these news articles about Honda engines blowing. Yeah. Yeah, only Call of Cthulhu when you use intelligence as the dump stat, and it actually makes the game easier. Oh man. Yeah, that was we were doing the Call of Cthulhu on the Titanic. We tried to run we did the Nyarlathotep one, but after about 6 months everybody was just tired, and it's like okay, we're doing Masks of Nyarlathotep. Okay, it took us 3 months to get out of role playing to get past the first the stocking up mission. And then everybody suddenly had scheduling issues because we're adults. Yeah, I don't know what the hell happened with that CRV. I mean, we did all of our homework, and they said that was the car to buy. It had no problems whatsoever. Then then it's just bam, out of nowhere. No problems before, no problems after. Just, hey, the car's dead. He's like, all dead. Oh, man. So, yeah, we still got 4 years to pay off on that car. Fortunately, we're about to pay off the wife's car. Yeah. Yeah, I actually haven't looked at Mortborg since I did the review. That review was murder on my voice. Hey, Height. I was going to do a live stream of Mortborg with some friends. Because that's one thing I would like to do is do a live stream game if I can. Is like actually run a 5th edition game using the Mystara stuff to show what it's like. Can't find anybody that can play on a regular time basis, but that's part of the problem. Let me see. Thoughts on mixed genre games like cosmic horror mixed with cyberpunk. When done right, it can be amazing. When done wrong, it will kill the game. That's really an issue with mix. That's really a problem with you got to do it right. And how do you do it right? It's touch and go. Because the original Delta Green was a cyberpunk was partially a cyberpunk campaign. And then they dropped the cyberpunk. The Delta Green as Delta Green did great, but the cyberpunk one nobody remembers. But there's a lot of games that are like this plus Y or X plus Y. Let me see. Why not buy a new one? I did buy I bought the Honda CRV I bought. I got it from it was from a rental place. I still had 4 years left on the car, so I had to have it repaired. They don't sell new engines. That was what the mechanic had to explain to some people when he was like, "Oh, they do not sell new engines. You have to buy a used engine." It took the parts place that he took it a week to find it, and and then they shipped it here, and then they put it in. But I had to have the car repaired. I owed too much money on it to like turn it in. Thoughts on Guns on Fantasy? Can be done very well. The thing is, you have to remember guns are lethal, so they will tend to dominate. I mean, they had Iron Kingdoms, they had guns in fantasy, but their guns were so short range that most of them, the people could charge you further than your gun had a range. Yeah, now I know Winter ED, never to buy from a rental place. But at that time, we were having a serious, because I had a guy take out my car in an accident when he ran a stop sign. So I had to find something that I could use for my job. And finding an SUV that was affordable, that was in my price range, which even though I have excellent credit, there was just a shortage of cars. Let me see. Any recommendations for a decent, easy-to-play super robot or mecha game? Mechton by Artal Sorian isn't bad. Are you looking for stompy robot time, or do you want a actual game that happens to have giant mechs in the background? Is 2025 at least going better for you? Well, it's only been 8 days, but we didn't get hit by the tornado, so there's that. So yeah, we got missed by the first natural disaster of the year.
Yeah, the tornado was literally...
Yeah, the tornado didn't miss by much. It took out the middle of the neighborhood. It destroyed multiple houses, and injured 10 people. Like I said, we would like to like I said, I would love to do a D&D game online. I gotta find a time that I can play. My problem is I'm like the number one troubleshooter at my job, so during the day or during the week it's difficult because sometimes I find myself on the other side of Texas. I had to go to Beaumont to fix something today. Let me see. Who GMs more often, you or Mrs. Welch? I do. I usually do the DMing for my family. But other times we both play and we go with a friend. Though that stopped when all of our characters died. 5th edition is not hard to learn. It is really not hard to learn. It is a fairly simplistic game. It's simpler than 1st edition because 1st edition had all the rules. And I really have to do the which edition of D&D is right for you. Do you like simulation? Then you want 1st edition. Do you want lore and just a ton of well-written options? Then you want 2nd edition. Do you like math and a lot of options? Then you want 3rd edition. Do you want to just basically dungeon crawl and play like a board game? Then you want 4th edition. Do you want high-powered stuff? Then you want 5th edition. And then 5th edition is still coming out, so nothing... so I don't have an opinion on it yet. Well, 5e was basically 2.5. The problem is that they didn't fix the issues that were there when it started. Like, okay, it doesn't have the crippling math that caused 3.5 to fall apart. But 3rd edition 3.5 basically collapsed under its own weight. They just kept putting out so much stuff. I mean, 5th edition slow rolled all their stuff. Take care, Riffy. 5th edition slow rolled all their stuff. And people were complaining about the slow thing because I was like, I looked at 1st edition compared to 5th edition, and 1st edition published more books in less time, but not by much. 5e has got like superheroes and fantasy, but then again, some people like that because that's why Exalted did so well. And 3.5 was so almost quadriatic because everything just kept going up by 1. 5th edition had the bounded accuracy, which didn't work very well because it didn't give it a big enough number range. But most D&D didn't have many classes added to begin with. Or when they did add the class, it didn't work. What is it? 1st edition, unless you did unless you added the Oriental Adventurers stuff, they only added Cavalier and Barbarian, and we didn't like to talk about those. 2nd edition added Barbarian later, and Psionicist, but again, they weren't that strong. Oh, thank you, Angus. Let me see. If I can get some variation of the core rules in the book, the form that cuts the Forgotten Realms stuff, I'm not going to... Yeah, actually the DMG doesn't do Forgotten Realms. It does Greyhawk. But and of course, the best Forgotten Realms book that Wizards put out was the 3.5's Forgotten Realms campaign guide. It was amazing, and it's like I read it just for the lore, and I don't play in Forgotten Realms, but I'll give good stuff, props when I see it. It's like, but if you want to keep Forgotten, I got to wrap this up because it's almost 9 now, and I've got to start doing getting ready for work tomorrow. But if you want to keep Mystara, if you want to keep Mystara fresh, you got to keep bringing it up every time there's a D&D, stream or whatever from Wizards. Don't go jumping into other people's streams unless they're talking about Forgotten Realms. Thanks, Angus, again. Bring it up. Make jokes. If they say, which monster do you want? Throw in something from Mystara. 4th edition does well now that people can turn it into a video game. Um, and I've seen people playing 4th edition. It works better as a video game than that. Yeah, I mean, the third stuff was, you know, it had the problem. It had the problem kind of like 5th edition. It's like you can look at how you want to build your character from 1st level to 20th level, and you're just going to do that. There's no choices in it. Let me see. I don't know if this link will work since we're talking about you. Whatever. 5th edition, I am holding off my opinion on 5th edition until the Monster Manual comes out and I have all the books so I can read everything and see what they have addressed on what I didn't like about 5th edition. Yeah, 4th edition is World of Warcraft. They specifically said that they were trying to capture that audience. And what are you going to do? They were trying to jump onto something that's now, you know, like now there's no World of Warcraft. Kind of like why I had to drop the EverQuest reference from the Con game, because, you know, like Everquest is no longer relevant in the nerd culture anymore, because we had people playing They had a picture of like NeverQuest, which was the NeverQuest chick that was always on the box art. Only now she's morbidly obese. Okay, and Mechanicus, I'll take care. Okay, guys, well, I'm going to wrap this up because I've been talking for 2 hours. It is amazing to actually have done this without any technical issues whatsoever. I have never, and I'd like to thank all of you for showing up, because I've had more viewers for a live stream than I've ever had. I will try to be doing these more often now that I know what the hell I'm doing.
You have good internet connection.
Yes, and now I have real internet. Like I said, if anybody wants to help out with the art, there's a PayPal link in the on the description. Like I said, all the money goes to Rubus. Once he's got to get more art done, I can pay for more about it. The Acrobat was more of a subclass than a replacement class, though. Because me and AJ Pickett were talking about the Cavalier class and how broken it was, and we didn't realize exactly how broken it was. So anyways, it is 9:01, and I will catch you guys later. And again, keep harassing Wizards of the Coast about Mystara until they finally give it to me. And tell them I have $100 trillion waiting for them if they do. Alright, bye-bye. $60.